friends, we have arrived. Best makeup of 2024. Every time this video rolls around, I am astonished as to how quickly, yet again, the year flows by. And I use the word flow on purpose because, I mean, it just kind of goes by like water, fast water, like a stream, a river. But here now, awarding what I think are the best makeup items in my eyes over the course of 2024. I can't distinguish whether all of these dropped during the year or I encountered them during the year. Nevertheless, I still feel these hold a special place in the best of category, and I actually have notes as to what my best of choices were for 2023, just so we can have that comparison and context, if you will. The easiest way for me to go through this list is to start by category. And what do we apply first on our face besides moisturizer, primer before? You guessed it, foundation. We begin with the complexion category, and last year I awarded Suqqu the foundation best foundation of 2023. And this year was interesting because I did not purchase another foundation. I sampled a few. I sampled the Prada foundation. Did I sample another one? It possibly I could have. But what took the top spot this year, not one, but two products, as I have been using them together extensively and appreciate the finish, the coverage, the smooth texture my skin is left behind with. That is no other than the dynamite combo of the LYS Skin Tint and the Danessa Myricks Serum Skin Tint from her Yummy Skin line. Combining these products have been a godsend, and individually, they're fantastic. The ease of use of the LYS Skin Tint is phenomenal. It is more of a tint, not so much of a medium coverage foundation, although I would classify this as medium coverage. Nice for a tint. And you can just slap it on. That's what I do. I dot it around. I'll either use my fingers or a dedicated foundation brush, and I'll mix it with the Yummy Skin, whether I apply the Yummy Skin straight on my face or I'll mix it on a palette first. Whatever the approach is, these two have been phenomenal in terms of covering my blemishes, having my skin appear smooth, even, and not overly made up. I found that the texture, when you combine two serum or skin tint like products together, you get the best of both worlds, and you get, I find, enough coverage for me. And it's easy enough to use, especially on low makeup days. If I'm just in the mood for brows and blush, I could just throw on either product so that it evens out my skin tone and just pulls my complexion together quickly, right? That's what I rely on these products for. And I haven't used a dedicated foundation for the majority of the year. I was either using skin tints or combining skin tints, and this duo has been amazing. I'm well aware of that Dior foundation stick that probably has found its way on several best of makeup 2024 lists. I know, because people have told me how phenomenal it is. I haven't bit the bullet yet because of the fragrance. And yes, some of the products that I have here on this list do have fragrance. And you're like, Alicia, how dare you? You're a hypocrite. 100%. When it comes to certain products and fragrance, I can tolerate. I have a tolerance hierarchy. Foundation, a little tougher for me to deal with because it's all over my face, and since it takes over a wider surface area, therefore the risk is higher for me to smell the fragrance more intensely than like a lipstick or a cheek product. I know the Dior foundation stick is beautiful. I haven't tried it. I just heard about it. Maybe I'll buy it eventually, but I've been more than satisfied, beyond satisfied with these two. These have just been phenomenal. I have swatches and all the stuff, demos with videos. You check it out on the playlist. I'll make sure I'll create one so that you can go to the corresponding video for a lot of these products, so you just get a little more in-depth details on them. Now, what would I mix this with? If I wanted a little more glow, wanted a little more of a soft focus effect, okay, definitely, without a doubt, the Dior Forever, or my apologies, yes, the Forever Glow Star Filter. A product that does have fragrance. I found not to be as intense as the foundation stick. Actually, it has a fragrance, but it's not as perfumey when I tried the stick at Sephora, or actually first, before Sephora, at the Dior counter over at Saks. This is in the shade 3. And the reason why this product is phenomenal is multifaceted. You can use it as a dedicated highlighter, which is why I purchased 3 in order to not use it for highlighter on the cheekbones as I did here today, but I could also mix it with other products such as the Danessa. I have number 9 in Danessa, which is a little warm on me, even though the description reads neutral. Generally, I found Danessa Myricks skin tones run a little bit on the warm golden side, so if I wanted to tone it down a little bit, I can mix in a little bit of the Star Filter, which does have more of a neutral undertone. But when you mix this product together with another foundation or skin tint, what you get is more of a softening effect of the skin, blurring without it appearing overly shimmery or overly glittery. I think it's fantastic and a great technique actually to rely on when softening the look of imperfections without having to use a ton of product. When you cocktail the Star Filter, it is formulated to soften without looking heavy on the skin. And when you have that option at your disposal, I just think you have so many avenues available to you, not only to create that soft focus unblemished effect on the skin, but also accentuating the highlight points of your skin, where when you use a liquid or cream highlighter, I think the effect of highlight appears more natural versus when you apply a powder highlighter, because the liquid and creams just blend in more seamlessly into the skin than a powder does. Despite how powder technology has just been off the rails lately, you can go wrong with the Star Filter, and that goes hand in hand with their maximizer, which I know I'm not officially awarding this best liquid highlighter of 2024, even though I want to. The only reason why it's not, I'm just mentioning it honorably, is because, well, you can mix this with other products if you wanted. I mean, if you wanted to mix this with other liquid cheek products like a liquid cream blush or liquid cream bronzer, the Star Filter, you just have a little more finesse, right, in terms of what you could cocktail it with, what you could use it for. Regardless, just, I'm giving the Star Filter the spot. The Glow Maximizer and the Star Filter, by far, and yes, I didn't try the foundation stick and I didn't try any of their contour sticks, okay? I think Dior's best releases this year. Maybe in addition to their blush bronze duos, which I absolutely love, I do. That is not on the list, but I'm mentioning it because, again, a phenomenal product. You get a ton of product and the colorways are just gorgeous. I bought the wine gold one, the wine blush and the gold highlight duo. Ooh, that one is just outrageous. And with that and the Star Filter, with the Glow Maximizer, woo, Dior had a fantastic year. But I had to reward Star Filter best highlighter. But I'm sorry, this is what happens with these best of videos. I have so many favorites. To narrow it down to one per category is torture. But I have to briefly mention the Byredo highlighter stick that recently released later this year. I understand, but out of all the highlighter sticks that I tried this year, Byredo by far is one of my absolute favorites. The texture, the consistency of this thing is insane. It has just a soft glow from within texture when you tap it on your cheekbones, and it instantly melts. There's little blending to be done, and I would suggest that you warm it up with your fingertips first. If you kind of dab it on, it might move your foundation, it might move your concealer. You're not going to be happy with that technique. I would warm it up with the fingertip first, tap it on where you need it. I also, actually, it's not going to last very long. It was just for the sake of the YouTube short. I dabbed this on my eyes and plopped on a YSL shadow for my shadow liner, and oh my gosh, it was so pretty. I loved it. But I had to mention the Byredo stick because, yes, the Star Filter wins it for its role in both complexion adjusting and glow delivering, but the Byredo stick as a standalone highlighter, cream from the cream liquid category, ooh, I had to mention it. It is beautiful. Oh, and did I mention what my highlight selection was from last year? Oh my heavens, I don't have it here. I wonder what it was. But my apologies, I'm getting ahead of myself. Before we get into powder, what goes under the eyes besides powder? Concealer, and I have to give it to Danessa again. Danessa is making a sweep. The Yummy Skin Lift and Fix Concealer. I also have this in the shade 9, and what I appreciate about this formula is how it's creamy, but it's not tight under the eyes. It doesn't accentuate texture there. It leaves behind just a beautiful blank canvas without looking heavy. And I do like the fact that the color itself does balance out any unevenness or discoloration under the eyes that tend to move depending on your skin tone, more blue, more gray, or whatnot. I do like the fact that the lift and flex, the lift and flex addresses uneven tone under the eyes and also addresses balancing and coverage, right? So you get all those three with a texture that's just beautiful to blend. And I like how it's a little tight, where with Natasha Denona's concealer, it's a touch more liquidy, which isn't a problem because I love that concealer as well. With the Lift and Fix, it doesn't spread as much, where you can just keep it right here under the eyes and get away with applying a little bit more so it doesn't spread down towards your cheeks and you get like that crazy highlight effect from like 2015 when people were just slopping on concealer like crazy. I like the texture of the Yummy Skin a lot. It's creamy, but it's not so creamy that it grabs texture or it accentuates it. I think it's a lovely formula, a lovely consistency. And last year I awarded Lancome the Teint Idole Best Concealer of 2023. I still think this is a phenomenal product within the concealer category. It does the job. It's Lancome. My gosh, the amount of skin shades and undertones they have available for their complexion products is just beyond my comprehension. And I think that's one of the standout characteristics for Lancome as a brand and why people buy them just blindly, because you're going to find a skin match from Lancome, from their foundation, from their concealer. And I had to mention that again because I would still use this concealer 100%. I do like how the Yummy Skin is a little creamier and has a little more coverage, right? But you can see just from the screen like how yellow the Yummy Skin is and how peachy neutral the Lancome is. I have a wide range of undertones when it comes to my concealer. I guess I haven't nailed the right undertone for my under eyes. They all work, albeit might be a little mixing here and there to achieve a shade that doesn't look too nuts under my eyes, but the number 9 works. And if I needed to, I would mix it with Lisa Eldridge's Skin Tint, which I know. Where is it, Alicia? How come it's not on your best of 2024? As much as, because I said this, I prefer the Lisa over the Yummy Skin because I think the Lisa texture has more of a velvety finish. However, when I combine the Yummy Skin with the LYS, it's like the heavens break apart and the sun comes shining on my face. And the Lisa Skin Tint has a no product smell to it, which I'm not crazy about. The only reason why it pulled me back in awarding it best complexion product of 2024, but it is a phenomenal product. If you have the Skin Tint from Lisa Eldridge, you know I love it way more than her foundation. Despite the fact the foundation offers up more coverage and all that stuff, I much prefer the Skin Tint from Lisa. And number 10 is the shade that I own. It is dead on. It is a dead on match, but the problem with that is because it's dead on and we are in the winter season, it tends, depending on, it doesn't drag me down, because unlike the Prada foundation where if I over apply it, it could look a little dull because of the neutral undertone. The neutral undertone in Lisa Skin Tint manages to not mute my complexion, for lack of a better word. So I have to put it out there. And the texture is phenomenal. It's more liquidy than the Serum Skin Tint. Definitely more liquidy than the stick for obvious reasons. I use all three, but the reason why I awarded the Yummy Skin and the LYS is because I've been using that duo more frequently. You know what I mean? The Lisa Eldridge is definitely an honorable mention for sure. I mean, what am I gonna do? I'm not gonna just not mention it in the best of. Are you kidding me? I said powder. 2023, I awarded Shiseido the what is it called? It comes in the pot. It was the, for heaven's sake, the Synchro Skin Invisible Silk Loose Powder. It's virtually invisible. It has this net where you press your brush into the net and it releases just a light serving of powder. To this day, I think this is one of the best loose powders still out there. I don't think this product is discontinued. If it is, what a shame. But this year, family, not only did this product drop in 2024, it has to be, without a freaking doubt, this stupid, expensive Luxe powder from Prada Beauty. Their Rebalancing setting powder. Whoa, I know. I've been using this ever since I bought it. It does have fragrance. I don't mind it. It actually doesn't bother me. I smell it upon application. It doesn't linger. So we're good with that. What's just phenomenal about this product is the fact that despite the powder label, it applies more like a balm. When you feel it, it has like a creaminess to it. And you see that there's no fluff, there's no kind of powderiness going on. But when you put it on, it has an instant softening, blurring effect on the skin without you having to apply a ton. Now, take note, it has like this mint color purposefully for two reasons. Is to represent the brand's beauty logo color, first and foremost, but the green is said to rebalance redness, help address uneven skin tone, especially around the nose area where redness occurs, and just to rebalance out any discoloration here under the eyes. The key is to not apply a ton. You just have to tap it lightly. That's the point of this powder. It works instantly. You don't need a ton, or rather, this is not the type of powder that you just heavily pounce on under the eyes, drag queen style. That's not what we're doing, okay? This is like a light tap situation, but that in itself is instantly transformative. And the fact that there is no powderiness at all, that is more, again, like that powder balm effect on the skin. Ooh, it is just a pleasure to use. And one that you can just, for instance, just nudge it right here. If that's the only powder you need, that's all you have to do. And you can carry it lower here, again, to lessen the look of pores around the under eye area, near the nose. I like to tap it here between the brows because it can get a little textury here. This is what the Prada powder does. And I happily award it Best Powder of 2024. It is just, it's incredible. What else can I say? Now we're entering the cheek category. Where do I begin? I mean, my gosh. When I did my mid-year faves video, I awarded, I guess I'll start with blush, okay? I awarded Suqq's Cream Touch Blush that released in their summer collection Best Blush thus far, after 6 months. This product is just otherworldly. For a cream blush that has this type of creaminess, but it doesn't, how can I say this? It has a beautiful color effect without appearing heavy, and it just envelops your cheeks effortlessly with a few pounces and you're done. And this color in particular, the nectar color, are you kidding me? But there was another blush formula that released this year from Suqqu, from their Miyabi Autumn collection. The Blurring Blush. Newly released formula from the brand where it's giving soft matte powder, and in the most beautiful way, color rich, soft, silky on the skin. That's what I have on now, actually. Can you tell? And it was tough for me to single out my favorite color in addition to the formula. I have to give it to, oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna say there's two. The one I have on now from their winter collection, namely 103 Hakanacha. Hakanacha is this pink, muted pink brown, one of the most unique blush shades that I have in my collection. It's like when I first swatched, look at that. And then when I slapped this on, I was like, oh my goodness. Because of that brown muted tone, I can get away with it in the hollows and carry it lower on cheeks if I wanted to go there. It's kind of like a terracotta blush in that way, where I rely on those types of shades to give me warmth and blushed effect. This is giving sculpt and a little bit of a blush effect, okay? And the second color is from their holiday collection, 105 Akinozomi, this pink red. And just all over, this is the color that I just slap on everywhere, okay? On the cheeks, near under the eyes. Look at that. I have to put this on. It's just right in front of me. I gotta put this on. The blurring blush formula from Suqqu, I know it's not as exciting as their melting blush formula. I think when the melting blush released, was it 2023? Was it last year? I can't recall. It must have been. If not, 2022 for sure. It was just outrageous. The fact that you had a blush texture that felt moussey in the pan, but delivered that sheen color effect on the cheeks instantly. And in the array of colors it was available in, you couldn't get better than that. And I understand why people prefer melting blush over the blurring blush. But the blurring blush texture is silky, is color rich. It just sweeps. It sweeps over the cheeks and it envelops the area, I mean, in the most fluid way. And the colors, the shades have been just outrageous. Every shade that released for the freaking blurring blush, I can't even talk, ever since the formula release in the Miyabi collection, followed by winter, followed by holiday, have just been up my alley. And it's hard for me to award one shade only, but I definitely have to award the blurring blush as my favorite blush of the year. Over the cream touch, yes, because I do love powder blush, I do, and the shades that have released in this formula have been phenomenal. So shout out to Suqqu again, and they were kind enough to send me a few. They were kind enough to send me a Hakanacha, but I bought Akinozomi when Liberty London was running a sale for Suqqu, so I had to pick those shades up. I picked up a few others. Allow me to interrupt myself for one moment, excuse me. I have to award the Hourglass Vision Liquid Blush as best liquid blush for 2024. How dare I? How dare I forget about this just beautiful product, although I only have two shades, okay? I have to say, when I first tried the Hourglass Liquid Blush, I was just amazed by its smooth texture. It is a liquid, and I feel sometimes liquids lend the impression that it's going to break apart your foundation. It will apply splotchy, uneven. No. The minute you dot this liquid blush on your cheeks, it just envelops the area smoothly and evenly. It's almost like a blanket of color, soft, that you can build up accordingly, whether you want it to appear more washed out, more like a watercolor effect, if you will, or you want it to be more color heavy. And my gosh, a dot of this goes a long way. You don't need a ton of product, and that is the magic behind Hourglass's Vision Liquid Blush. Now, I have Moment and, what was the other one? I'm sorry. Unreal. I keep calling Vision is the shade that I have. It's the rosy shade and I have, and this is Moment, the Unreal Liquid Blush from Hourglass. I only have Vision and Moment. Moment is this peachy coral that I have on today. Vision is the more rose shade, and I adore the fact that I can actually apply the liquid blush first and follow up with maybe like a powder product if I really wanted to bump up the color intensity or even just the longevity, because I got the layer on with the liquid blush and now following up with powder. Ooh, it's a ball. But I had to interrupt myself because how dare I forget about the Unreal Liquid Blush. I can't speak for the other shades in the lineup. There are, I think, maybe six in all, if I recall. Vision and Moment just blew me away, and I applied Moment today and immediately remembered why this product is sensational. So gotta give it up to the Hourglass Liquid Blush product, best liquid blush of 2024, or I guess you could put it in there in the liquid cream category for blushes. I haven't tried the other. Yes, I know the Dior Star Filter is amazing, but my gosh, this is incredible because it doesn't have as much pearl as the Dior Glow Maximizer, and that product doubles as highlighter, blush light, right? This is a dedicated blush that has a little bit of pearl, not as much as the Dior. So if you want some more subtle, but you still want a little bit of sheen, a little bit of that soft focus effect, more of that like glow, you gotta get this one. Now we go into, well, my gosh, I'm skipping all over the place. Let's take a break from the cheeks. Okay, and I wanted to go with brows. My beloved Goof Proof from Benefit has just held these brows down for years. 3.5 has been my go-to shade for years. Everything from the shade and the texture has delivered gorgeous, glamorous brows. However, when Suqqu reformulated, or redid rather, their brow category and released or re-released the brow powder that was already existing, but they released new shades. But I think they reformulated, or rather they released a new brow pencil. When I tried this brow pencil for the first time, it was a rocky start because I wasn't used to the drier pencil, and I wasn't used to more of like that sketch that I had to do. Okay, this is the Suqqu pencil in 03 Sand, which for me is my most favorite shade out of the entire lineup. This is the Benefit brow pencil. So you get a lot more color from the Benefit, and I have to be a little careful with this one. I can't be as liberal with like I can with the Suqqu one. And that's what I enjoy about the Suqqu pencil, is how I can sketch heavy, but the brows appear shadowed. They don't appear thick and bold. And just, they don't overtake my entire face. That could happen with this pencil. So I have to tread lightly. I have to use a light hand. With the Suqqu pencil, I could just go wild, sketch in the front, sketch through the tail, through the body of the brow, sketch at the top of my arch. It's just a party. And the colors though, I tried 02 Brown, I think it's 02 Brown, 03 Sand, it might have been, I can't recall the numbers. I also have Khaki and Mauve. The Mauve one's a lot of fun. But out of all the four that I tried, Sand is my most favorite because it's neutral, but it's not too gray and it's not too cool toned. It is cool toned, but it's just right where I need it to be in terms of shading. That's what I have through my brows today. Another perk that I found with the brow pencil from Suqqu is when I'm not having a makeup day, but I do want to slap on some brows, I find that when I use the Goof Proof, the brows look a little too bold by themselves. I will have to follow up with some blush or maybe like, I don't know, something. But when I apply, or rather when I use the Suqqu pencil, it doesn't warrant anything else on my face. I can have a no makeup day, but still have more of a structured brow without it looking too much. That's what I noticed immediately when toggling back and forth between the two pencils, and found and concluded that the Suqqu one is just phenomenal. But that doesn't mean I still don't use the Benefit one. I will still use it until it's finished. Another aspect of the Suqqu pencil is their refilling capabilities, where you don't have a refill capability with the Goof Proof. Once this is done, you have to purchase an entirely new pencil, whereas you just purchase the pencil once from Suqqu, and then thereafter as many refills as you need in whatever color, shade rather, that you wish to. So that was one of the deciding factors. If anything, the most important one, because to constantly rebuy a new eyebrow pencil each and every time was like, oh, here we go, wasting another entire pencil because there's no brow pencil in it. But just to buy the refill, I think is a little more sustainable, and also an opportunity to try another color and not buy an entirely new pencil in that different color. So there you go. We're gonna hop back into cheeks. I just needed a break. I needed a break because this was one of the hardest categories for me to pin down. I could break it apart: powder, cream, face palette, but without a doubt, and I'm unsure if this product released in 2024, I can't recall, but definitely have to award Best Powder Bronzer of 2024 to the YSL. I have this in 04, I think it's called Sandalwood something. Surprisingly, not fragrance, despite it being a luxury makeup product. This bronzer, talk about silky, finely milled. The color is phenomenal. It's warm, but it's not overly orange. Or when it's on me, it just has this beautiful bronze effect, as it should. But the way it appears, it doesn't make me look too heated. It doesn't have like that orange effect that could happen sometimes depending on the undertone. This is just perfect on my complexion. And the fact that it just floats, it dances on the skin, and it lands where it needs to land. There is no patchiness, no powderiness whatsoever. It is beautifully soft on the skin. It diffuses well. It works well with other powder products, whatever you decide to slap on thereafter. Oh my goodness, this bronzer is just perfect. I love the color. I was going back and forth between 3 and 4. I'm happy I didn't buy 3 because 3 I would have had to build, which is fine. I've done that in the past with other bronzers and still could with current bronzers in my collection. But this one right here, I had to give it best of 2024 for the powder bronzer category. Now for the cream bronzer. There are a few contenders. The Say liquid bronzer, the Makeup by Mario soft sculpt something serum bronzer, the Simihaze bronzer that I recently purchased, and the bronzer found in the Auric Mirage palette in High Noon. You know, this one was hard because I love them all. I love them all for different reasons, for different purposes, for the undertone and shades that they deliver, right? For the texture, for how it looks on my skin. I like the fact that I can mix the Makeup by Mario with the Lisa skin tint, right? To warm it up a bit if I needed it to. Oh, this is hard! Now, the Auric palette, I'm gonna save that for best face palette of 2024. Despite the Hourglass was, I do think this has been Hourglass's best holiday face palette release thus far. The shade range improved a bit. There's more to go, but the colors this year were just out of this world. I'll get back to the face palette category in a minute, forgive me. For the individual cream bronzer winner, however, this took me by surprise. I did not realize how much I would adore this cream bronzer that I actually use for more sculpting purposes, but I think the color is wildly unique. It's neutral, but it still doesn't look dull or too shadowy in my cheekbones. I appreciate the undertone of this color, and I still call it a bronzer because this is what they call it as well. They call it the Skin Suede Melting Bronze Balm, and it does feel like a balm, but it's not sticky, it's not tacky. It might feel like that on the first touch, but when you start blending it out, it has more of a natural, dare I say, natural to soft matte finish on the skin after the blend. The color that's left behind is just outrageous. It's outrageous. I was not expecting to love oak this much. I was not expecting to adore the texture this much. And I love the compact. It's small. It's just straight to the point. You lock it in by twisting. And I do prefer a cream bronzer over a liquid one. I do think cream bronzers are easier to blend. And then cream blushes are easier to blend as well. But I have to give it to Simihaze. Yes, the color, the texture, checks out all the boxes. Now we come to, I'm awarding this best face palette over Hourglass because of the functionality, the fact that it is magnetic, not only the individual pans, but you could take out this plastic frame, and I break it down in my dedicated Auric video if you want to check it out, where you can now arrange these pans as however you like, and Auric will release individual pans from their different face palette offerings. If you want it like the blush shade or the bronze shade or the highlighter shade from the other two, you could just buy the singles and then mix and match as you like. And the fact that Samantha, owner of Auric, included what she calls Dew Beam, it's like a mixer that has insane gloss an insane gloss finish that you can mix with either the highlighter, the blush, or the bronzer. But something I noticed about this cream product from Auric, and I knew it was going to be phenomenal because Samantha loves her cream cheek products, okay, is I can successfully apply all bronzer, blush, and highlighter with fingers only, and it doesn't look splotchy or uneven. I took this palette with me over to Bay's house over the weekend once, and I purposefully did not pack a brush. I said, no, we're gonna put this to the test. We're gonna just tap around. And the fact that I applied it immediately, the fact that the cream products looked even on my skin, and I didn't apply this over foundation either. I just wanted to rely on the cream cheek products solo to just kind of distract from my blemishes, to soften the look of them a bit. And that's exactly what this did. This is a phenomenally formulated cream product. All of them are, and you can mix and match, where if you wanted a little bit of a gloss effect from your bronzer, you can mix it with the Dew Beam. If you want your blush to be more of a blush cream topper, okay, you can mix it with a Dew Beam. And it's so much fun, especially if you have the spatula. I bought the spatula and palette from Auric as well, because look at this thing. It has a wide surface area where you could just scoop and slap and cocktail to your heart's content. With the Hourglass palettes, the powders are phenomenal, and something I mentioned in my diving back into Hourglass video, where I applied those powders without foundation just so I can capitalize on their formula, right? Hourglass powders are meant to soften and blur without the presence of another complexion product, especially their setting powders, where you can buff them on your entire face just to soften the look of imperfections and also even out skin tone and have more of like pearlescent sheen effect that naturally has a blurring, softening effect on the skin, followed by their either bronzer or their blush that has that same technology found in the setting powder. So you don't necessarily have to apply a foundation or a skin tint, but you could rely on their setting powders and their blushes and bronzers, even highlights here on the cheekbone, to create like that flawless effect on the skin, albeit it's not going to be completely 100% flawless coverage because they're powders, especially if you don't go in with foundation first. But like I had did with the Auric, I experimented over the weekend once, just brought along the Hourglass palettes and used the powders to create like that blushed out effect without using foundation, and I loved how my skin looked. I love the fact that I can bring it in around the eyes to create more of like that doll-like effect, that fairy blush look that people have been doing for a while now, and what I can do successfully with the Hourglass palettes. The reason why I'm giving it to Auric is because of the palette functionality, the fact that possibly whenever those single pans release, I can buy other single pans and mix and match blush shades. So that's coming up soon. Hopefully in 2025 we'll see the individual pans. And best powder highlighter, you know, I had to do the powder highlighter category. They're different from liquid and cream. And between the two, I'm going to show you both, okay? Between the Gucci and the Hindash. I have to give it to Hindash because I do prefer the gel bake texture. Look at that. The pickup is phenomenal. It's shiny, but not only shiny, what I find different between the Hindash highlighter and the Gucci one is that the Gucci has more of like that dedicated shine effect, but what Hindash's highlighter has is the shine and twinkle. Okay, there's a little more reflectivity I found from the Hindash highlighter, and the fact that it's easier to pick up with the Gucci highlighter, you can just see it from my fingerprint. There's a little bit of like a cream mousse quality about the powder, and you have to be a little strategic with what tool you decide to use with this. If you use too soft of a brush, you will not be happy. You're not going to get any highlighter pickup whatsoever. So you would have to use a stiffer, not necessarily denser brush, but a stiffer one to pick up this texture successfully and to actually land it on the cheekbones. Whereas you have a little more option in terms of tools, where the Hindash application will be far more successful. But the color, you see this gradient in the pan, it's just beautiful. And this was sent to me by Beautylish when I collaborated with them for their gift card event back in back in autumn, I had to request this product because the minute I saw it on Instagram, I was like, whoa, Hindash. And I love it. I applied it on the star filter. Can you even handle? No, you can't. It's too much. I love the Gucci. I think the Gucci is phenomenal, but again, if I'm awarding best of, I try to consider not only the formula, but the ease of use, the accessibility, the color, the texture. There's so many components that are involved with me deciding what takes best of spot. And yes, you could argue the packaging is more luxe with the Gucci. I would say they're both plastic though, right? They're both plastic. It's that Gucci has like the fun star design and Hindash is a little more minimalist, a little more straightforward, but I gotta give it a Hindash highlighter. That thing's crazy. Before we do eyeshadow, let's just do lips. Let's just take a break. Let's take a breather with the lips. I think you already know. I awarded this same lip product best of mid-year lipstick of all time. And it has to did you think it would be anything else? This released back in January, and I lovingly asked Bae if he could buy me all the shades of the Suqqu Moisture Glaze lipstick. When I tried this product for the first time, when I applied this lipstick, okay, let me start from the top. When I first saw it on Instagram, the shine, the colors, just how smooth it was, just from the photos alone, I had to have them. And boy, oh boy, was I not disappointed. The Suqqu Moisture Glaze lip product, by far one of Suqq's best lipstick products, by far one of the best lip products that I own in my entire collection. And let me mention, I also love the Prada Beauty Lip Balm. That is fantastic. I love the Peri Para Water Bear Tint. Oh my goodness. The Addiction Tokyo Extreme Shine lipstick, my heavens. And the recently bought Kulfi lip oil stain. Whoa. This year, I'll get back to the Moisture Glaze in a minute, just bear with me. This year has been a heavy lip product year for me because previously I wasn't too keen on the lipstick thing because lipsticks go bad quicker than its powder counterparts or even some of the cream liquid counterparts, right? That's why I had a hard time buying new lipsticks, but I could not stand a chance against the Moisture Glaze drop. And thereafter, when Suqqu dropped winter and recently holiday, they added the sparkles to their Moisture Glaze formula. There you go. You see a little bit of that sparkly arcly. And yes, if you're wondering, although I missed out on the 2 shades that were on sale during the Liberty London event, they came back in stock. They're arriving today. So I'll come back on here and do some comparison swatches, but I had to get the other 2 shades from the holiday collection because, oh my goodness, to have the shine from the Moisture Glaze, but now to have this sparkle, I'm just gonna slap it on. The one I had before was from the Miyabi collection, number 11. Ooh, the milky brown. This one has a little more sparkle in the formula, so there's a little more twinkle with the shine, and you can feel them a little bit naturally, right? They're just not going to disappear, but they're not crumbly. They don't feel rough on the lips. Last year, I awarded Suqqu's lip wrapping treatment best lip product of 2023 because I thought it was quite innovative. Talk about innovating again with the Moisture Glaze. Woo! I think what's so appealing to me about this product is the fact that you are getting color, but just enough. The dose is just enough for me, and especially when it gets into the more reds and the red browns and the hardier shades that could be a little more intimidating to wear if in a dedicated lipstick formula, which I know I did not buy Lisa's Rouge Experience lipsticks yet. Who knows if I did at this point, if it would have won over Suqqu. I don't know. The Rouge Experience itself, the fact that you can swap out lipsticks, which you can too with the Suqqu, but this component does not come close to Lisa's component, okay? That thing is gloriously designed to look like a freaking a museum item, okay, on purpose, because Lisa loves to collect old makeup, so I see it. That one I know for sure, if I would have tried the shades, it would have been in heavy contention with the Moisture Glaze. So let me know if you have both. I would love to read those comments, what your experience has been with both the Moisture Glaze and Lisa's Rouge Experience lipsticks. That the basket's still full. I asked Bay, he was like, what do you want for Christmas? I'm like, well, I'm at checkout right now on lisaeldridge.com, and there are a few items in there that, you know, that you could probably give me for Christmas. So who knows, maybe we'll open January with Lisa's lipsticks, which, yes, was a 2024 drop, but, you know, timing, what can you do? I gather what I can, I do what I can, but we'll end it here with the lipsticks. We got eyeshadow next. Best lipstick of 2024, in my opinion, goes to the Suqqu Moisture Glaze. We have arrived. You probably know what best eyeshadow palette is of 2024. I mean, have you seen what's on my eyes? Do you know? We've seen this palette several times on my channel. I also filmed an entire video deliberating over whether it would be this or that. It would be between Byredo Mineralscapes or Danessa's Lightwork 6 Freedom Palette. I know you're not surprised, because the way I just slobber over this palette is out of control. I adore Mineralscapes to a point where it's exhausting. And the reason why, because I mentioned this in my best eyeshadow palette video, which I'm not entirely sure if that's going to be up before this one, but whatever, I see that one too, okay? This palette, the way it captures inspiration, how it's effortless to use, how it's cool tone but colorful at the same time, muted but impactful at the same time. There's just beautiful pairings, right? And I can't get enough, not only of the formula, but I can't get enough of the shades. I can't get enough with how easy these shadows are to use. I can't get enough of the beautiful looks that emerge from using this palette, and it's just stress-free. It's stress-free. I could just turn my brain off, pick whatever color, pair it with whatever, put it on wherever. It doesn't matter. The looks that will come out from Mineralscapes are just elegant, sophisticated, gorgeous, ethereal. Mineralscapes is this cool toned, ethereal, mystical eyeshadow palette that I've been waiting for. And I'm not a cool tone person, okay? I don't naturally gravitate towards these types of shades and undertones. You saw, okay? If you haven't seen my best eyeshadow palette already, spoiler alert, I awarded Natasha Denona's I Need a Warm as one of the best eyeshadow palettes of the year out of Golden and Roxa. Okay, I explained how I love those shades. Those shades exist in remembrance. But do you remember who I awarded best of 2023 for eyeshadow? Isamaya's Industrial 2.0. And for the reasons why I love Mineralscapes are some of the reasons why I still love Industrial 2.0. I think that palette housed just beautifully dazzling textures that were easy to apply, were easy to layer and whatnot. And you could argue, well, you could kind of do that with Lightwork 6, Alicia. There was a little more refinement, in my opinion, and still is, because I have that palette, in Industrial 2.0 than what exists in Lightwork 6. Lightwork 6, listen, those textures are easy to pick up with a finger, are easy to pick up with several brushes. I would say one of the more easier formulas to deal with in the high shine, duochrome, multi-chrome, crazy chrome category of things. But Isamaya's palette I thought was a little easier to use, but you still got those twinkle effects, you still got those dazzle, sparkly, arcly effects without having the fuss, right? That's what Industrial 2.0 was for me. And I was hoping we would see 3.0, and I was this close to buying, because that collection, the horse collection, was 30% off for Black Friday. I didn't buy it. I said, listen, I wasn't crazy about the compact, to be honest. I love the eyeshadows, but I didn't like the compact design. I didn't like it as much as the industrial compact design, and I was hoping that we would get 3.0, but maybe it stops at 2.0. Who knows? Who knows what 2025 will bring for Ismaya Beauty? But I had to give it to Mineralscapes. Lucia just did a phenomenal job with this palette, and I think what's also special about it is that it's truly limited. Although I did see it available briefly at one point. I forgot what online retailer it was, but it was available. I was like, oh my gosh, this was limited, as well as the other palettes that released before Mineralscapes. The FOMO, the fact that, you know, when Byredo says limited, they're not kidding. And when Mineralscapes sold out, and the fact that they only release a palette a year just makes it all the more special. And I think that also plays a role in me deciding to award Byredo's Mineralscapes Best Eyeshadow Palette of 2024. It just has this mystique about it. It has the sophistication, but with a whimsical vibe about it, if that makes any sense, where you have the color, you have more of like those playful finishes, ones that are shinier than the other. You have the opportunity to experiment, but the eye looks won't appear childish, or they won't appear too clownish or literal. There's still a softness about it that I think makes the user comfortable and actually more confident in using these shades that they probably wouldn't use otherwise from other palettes, right? That's what I also think about Viseart and why Viseart is so special. But Mineralscapes, poof, had to give it Best of Eyeshadow Palette Award for 2024. And that concludes the Best Makeup of 2024 video, family. Woo! This was kind of hard, but I had to be cutthroat about it. Otherwise, I would deliberate over my decisions for days. And it's like, listen, we got to get this filmed and up, all right? So I'm happy, especially thinking back, this was an incredible makeup year, and there were a lot of favorites. But I think what made it incredible was the fact that I was a little more thoughtful with my purchases and grateful for the opportunities that I have in receiving PR from my favorite brands like Suqqu. I used to be on Natasha's PR list, but I bought all her palettes, and the purchases I made from the Sephora sales event in both spring and the recent one last month. Great makeup moments this month. But the lipsticks were fun because I don't wear lipsticks like that. But 2024 was the year of the lipstick for me. I was wearing them more often because of the Moisture Glaze formula. The fact that it feels like I'm applying a shiny balm, but I'm getting the phenomenal color payoff as well. In these types of shades, in these like soft tinted browns and plums and reds and oranges, I have like a Suqqu short showing all 10 shades when Moisture Glaze released back in January, if you want to check that out and see them in action. But all the shades they released thus far, I've been wearing them nonstop. And I like how they're interchangeable. I like that you could just buy the refill and not the entire component. It makes it easy to switch out, and especially when you're traveling, you have more space in your makeup bag, la la la. So happy to have awarded these products the best of for 2024, and I would love to know what your best does. Please use the comment section below to go off. Give me your list. Be elaborate about it. I love the details. If you made it this far, perhaps consider liking this video. It tells YouTube to recommend my videos and that I'm worth watching. And if you want to see more best of, because we still have best of lifestyle and best of luxe, I know, who am I? If you want to check out those videos, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you are alerted of those uploads immediately. And until then, I'll see you on here next time.